Ah, ladies and gentlemen, if there's one competition the Arsenal loves to play in, it's the FA Cup, and the magic of the FA Cup returns this weekend. I'd like Super Kev to explain what's going on right here. I think we'll find out in just a few. Welcome to Arsenal versus Newcastle. It's the FA Cup third round. Welcome, boys and girls, to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. This is the Lockdown Series, Volume 2, Episode 4. Thank you so much for joining us again. I hope everyone's doing well during this second, third, I don't know, Casey. Is it second, third, fourth? But joining me tonight, all I know is Super Kevin Campbell.
Oh, FA Cup edition. Love it.
All right, it's the FA Cup edition. Super Kev, you got some explaining to do, okay?
As always.
I've been, doing my Newcastle Arsenal research. We played them a lot back in the day in the FA Cup, and a team that was really... Why don't I rattle this off before I have you explain yourself just a little bit here? The FA Cup final in 1902 and 1906, we lost as Woolwich Arsenal to the Magpies. We also lost the 1932 FA Cup final 2-0, but then got revenge in 1936, winning 3-0 in a replay. The Gunners went on to beat Sheffield United, actually, in that final that year. We lost 1-0 to Newcastle, KC, in the 1952 FA Cup final.
Robledo scored.
But in 1998, we beat them 2-0. And again, we beat them in a replay in the 2002 FA Cup run, 3-0. That year, we went on to beat Chelsea, which was very satisfying as well. And Portsmouth ended up winning the FA Cup then in 2008. Was that the year they got relegated as well, KC? They won it and got relegated.
I think they did, yeah.
Arsenal have been in... Is it 21 or 22 finals? All I know is that we've won 14. I think we've been in 22 finals and United have been in 20. So when you look at the FA Cup finals we've lost, when you look at how many FA Cup finals we've actually been in, it's quite incredible. You've played in the FA Cup. So before we get stuck into the team and what we're expecting and what we think Arteta's going to do, I want to go a little bit down memory lane here with you, Super Kev, and I want to know what's going on right here between you and Mr. Graham. You look like you're frowning right there. You look like, what are you saying? It looks like he's sticking two fingers up at you.
Yeah, it may look that way, but that's called game mode. And he's not telling me to F off, by the way. Because of my performance, Sophie. That is what you call in the trade an in-game adjustment. That is an in-game adjustment. He wants us to change to a 2 or a 3. That's what he's saying. So, as I say, I wasn't frowning. Yeah, I'm in game mode, and he wasn't telling me to do one.
I love it. And does it look like I'm cold? I'm wearing a scarf and a coat and a hat. Everyone's telling me to put the heating on. Maybe I will, but you don't really need to do that in California too much. Ayusham is saying that he's asking you to score 2 more goals, Casey. Maybe you misinterpreted what the gaffer was saying.
And trust me, I wasn't, because I would have had a smile on my face. I should have said
that. What about this team right here, Super Kev? But maybe before I get to that, one of my most favorite goal celebrations is this little nugget right here.
FA Cup final, FA Cup final. That was right. He scored the first goal in the replay, that was that night. And we celebrated. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday pulled a goal back. And then it got to dramatics in extra time. Andy Linnigan came up trumps.
What a header.
And scored the header what went through Chris Wood's hands. And, we're expecting penalties at times. And late on, it's always nice to take the Arsenal fans all the way to the edge and then win it.
I
We
love
never
it.
do. But everybody in the chat, we never do things easy, do we? We never do it easy.
Never ever do it. Never do it easy. And KC just looks so like manly and beastly, man. I mean, KC, talk about athleticism. I mean, just not only being able to play the game and play it at a high level, but also have the athletic ability, which you had the natural athletic ability, but also worked hard to escalate that, right?
Yeah. If you remember that team was built on power.
Mm-hmm.
It was built on pace and power. You know, you'd like to Dave Rocastle. People think Dave Rocastle was some wispy guy. He wasn't. He was a tank. Mickey Thomas was a tank. Paul Davis was the wiry character. You know, we had our fullbacks who were very athletic, Lee Dixon. But you look at some of them players. Look at that back line.
Let's do it, Casey. Look at that back line,
Look at the
by
back
the way.
line. You've got Martin Keown there. You've got Dave Seaman, Paul Merson, Alan Smith, Steve Bold, Rodders, Andy Linigan, Alan Miller.
Dicko's in there.
Dicko's on his tiptoes, I think. Look at the size of him.
He must be. There's no way. Because, you know, you can see the disparity there between, is that Kenny Sansom on the right, on the left of Seaman right there?
No, that's Paul Merson.
That's Paul. Is that Paul Merson?
That's Paul Merson.
I was going to say Kenny Sansom's way too old not way too old, but look how short Merce looks.
And then you know what? You go into the front line. Obviously, you got Ray Parler, Mark Flats, David Illier, Stephen Morrow, Eddie McGoldrick, Selly, Heaney, obviously the gaffer, Righty, JJ, myself, Jimmy Carr, Super Swedanders, Pal Lyderson, and you got Nigel Winterburn and the great Geordie Armstrong behind Nigel Winterburn and Pat Rice at the other end behind Ray Parler.
You know,
absolutely brilliant.
You know, David loves this picture too. You know, when he was on the show the other day, he had his, and I so regret not having him show it to the listeners, but we'll do it again when he's on next. He's got his number 4 shirt on from that season. Yeah. And it still has the dirt on it and it smells.
Yeah, authentic. That's the one.
Yes.
Keep the mud on it, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. And he's got it on the back of his chair when he does his commentary and shows like that too. And a really good friend of the show, of course, Jill Armstrong, who we love seeing her pictures every single day that she shares. Her dad, what a legend. What an absolute legend. And to have him in this pic with UKC, how much does that mean to you with George Graham and Pat Rice and Geordie Armstrong and all these legends of the club?
Stuart Houston was there as well. Stuart Houston, you got Gary Lewin, who used to be an apprentice at the club and, you know, didn't quite make it and then became the physio. And Gary was a key component to the backroom staff. But seeing Geordie there, he's such a special guy, honestly. He bled Arsenal and he was always on about when you're at Arsenal, you don't realize how good a club you're at until you leave. He said he's such a special club, and he's a key component of getting a lot of those youngsters in that picture into that squad picture. Really important.
Yeah, it's really important. And I love going down memory lane with you. And I think the FA Cup gives us such an amazing ability to be able to do that. And KC, I'd like to ask you a little bit. This is your life at all. We'll do that with you one day, like the old school show on ITV. But one of the things that I used to love about the FA Cup, and I think old school Generation Xers who used to get up in the morning and religiously watch everyone leave the hotel, the bus, the whole parade, you know, from morning till kickoff. One of the favorite things of some fans was the FA Cup song and the FA Cup songs that used to come out. And right here, it seems like you boys are singing a tune. Mega legends here in the photo. Do you remember this moment and this day? What is going on here with you four?
I remember it, and he seems as though he's singing the hook. Look at him; it's like he's got an ice cream cone in his hand. Listen, we really like the song. It was done by Peter Honeygale and Tipper Irie, and it was called "Shouting for the Gunners." And it was.
That's
right, shouting for the Gunners. We loved it when we heard it. We thought that just sums us up. That sums up the team. It isn't too fancy. It's just a feel-good song. So that was our song, and we loved it. Went to the studio, you know, had a couple of beers to warm us up, and we were away.
I love it. KC, I think a lot of younger fans, they don't know about that tradition. I think that's more of our generation, but it really was a big deal. And you guys, there was a show, a little bit like here in the United States and other shows, of course, there was the top 10, Casey Kasem's top 10 here in the United States. And in England, it was called Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
And a lot of these songs used to make the charts. And a lot of the times the teams, if they could be in studio, would go and do a playback of the song. And if they couldn't, they would play the videos of the songs as well. Super Kev.
George would have it.
Was he like, no?
No, serious. He wouldn't have it.
Serious?
He
Really?
says, listen, lads, I don't mind you making a cup final song, but there's no appearance on some of the pops. No chop, we're trading. He wouldn't have it. Colonel Gaddafi, he was terror. He was tough. Him.
Oh my gosh, that's so epic. You know what? I love that. He's really cut from that Vince Lombardi, John Wooden, Bill Belichick.
Bill
Parcells.
No days off.
Yeah, night.
You work. Whatever we get, we work for.
Yeah.
It's we got to put that graft in.
And I can imagine, KC, as well, that Sir Alex Ferguson was like that too. He didn't like any of that nonsense. He really just didn't entertain it. So I don't know who was Chris Waddle and Glenn Hoddle's manager at the time when they did that Diamond Light song. Crazy. Talk to me about this. Look at you right there, Super Kev.
No, that ain't me. I wasn't part of that.
No, wait. Who is that in front?
That's Christopher Ray, I think.
Do you know what? I'm not being funny, Casey. That's a doppelganger right there.
No, is it Eck? Look at the size of him to the size of me. How could that be me?
Well, it just kind of face-wise with the little FA Cup hat. It looks like.
Don't you start, Sophie. Actually, I think that was the
Littlewoods 1998. I think this is the Littlewoods Cup final, right?
No, was it 90? No, I don't think
we got Overmars here. We got Anelka. We got Keown. I think 98? It might be. All right, Jack, correct me.
I'm not sure, but I think it was a bit earlier than that because Petit's in it.
Yeah, it's 98. I think Mars Gunner's saying too. And it is Chris Ray, but come on, you guys. Just the face, not the body.
No, Chart. Not a million. I tell you what, don't get me started, Sophie. I'm telling you, don't start.
All right. You can... That's so epic. I love it.
Oh, God.
Oh, brilliant. You're listening to the Highbury Squad here. It's Lockdown Series Volume 2, Episode 4. We're doing an FA Cup special in our build-up to Newcastle. Arsenal versus the Newcastle tomorrow. We've got Super Kev on here. We're going down memory lane just a little bit. Super Kev, you played in the FA Cup and you did it at the highest level. Can you just... We've talked about this before on the show, but when it comes to these kinds of moments, and everyone in chat loves nostalgia, tell us why the FA Cup is still so important and what it meant to you as a player.
You know, after I got off our pod yesterday, memories just kept flooding back because you don't necessarily think about it too much, if you know what I mean, Sophie, because you're doing stuff, you're living and stuff like that. But I was thinking about it, and you know, after every round, you start off, there's excitement in your belly. And after every round you get through, the excitement grows and grows and grows. And then when you start getting to the quarterfinals, so honestly, it is like a furnace burning inside you. You know it's close and you want it. And you win the quarter and you get to the semi and you sat Wembley and, you know, the whole thing. We played Spurs that year. Obviously, we had to get revenge on them. You remember? And Tony Adams scored. We got revenge on them. Mm-hmm. And then obviously you get in the final when we got in the League Cup and the FA Cup against the same team. And it's just a matter of George Graham again just comes into the head. It's not how you play, it's who wins.
Yeah.
Nobody cares how you play, but you've got to win the trophy. When you win the trophy, you get to be in pictures like you put up before, Sophie. That's what you get to put pictures up like this. Winners. Fans love winners. Nobody wants losers. Everybody wants winners. So you get to be a part and you get to reminisce about these pictures. Sheffield Wednesday boys don't even want to see it. This squad enjoyed, look, 2 cups. For finishing fourth, that picture would have no silverware. But that is a credible picture because there's silverware there, Soph. So, and maybe I'm, as you said, maybe I'm a bit old school. And yeah, I am a bit old school. And I know Princess Guna is a bit old school too, PG Tips is. But we love that silverware shining, baby. We love it.
We do. We completely love it. And I love winning the FA Cup. And I know at the beginning of this season, I've said that this year I would sacrifice not winning the FA Cup to be more competitive in the Premier League. And I definitely want to win Europa League. I want to win a European trophy again. And I think sometimes we're a little bit spoiled, and we were humbled a lot, weren't we, Casey, just 3 or 4 weeks ago, thinking that Arsenal Football Club were in a relegation battle. And then you think about other teams, and even Alan Myers, a great friend of the show, who was communications director at Everton, said that he would do anything to have or experience winning a domestic trophy. And I think, you know, all of those things are really super important. And the fact that we've won 4 of them in the last 6 years, we're a little bit spoiled. Would I say no? Would I say yes? Absolutely. But would I still sacrifice the FA Cup this year if it meant being much more competitive in the league and winning Europa League? I hate to say, I think so.
Sophie, look, this is the truth now. I would sacrifice the FA Cup if I knew we were going to win the Europa League. I would. But the fact of the matter is, you don't know, do you? Listen, we've seen this season, we can't put our finger on this team at the moment because the experienced players we expect to do the business haven't been doing the business. And them young kids have come in and are blazing a trail. So, you know, look, what we need is more consistency. We've said that from the start of the season, haven't we? We need the boys to be consistent. And we're going to get into team and who's to save and who not a bit later.
Yeah.
But we need the boys to be winning.
We do.
Win, 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 win. This is what Arsenal's about. Whatever game it is, whatever team that's picked, we go out there and win the game and move on.
Yep, totally. It's Kevin. He's getting me hot under the collar by going Sophie early, Jackie. So don't worry about that. We're just getting started here. Let's get stuck into that then a little bit, Casey. But before we do that, we've talked a lot. And as we hopefully progress through this competition, we're all hoping for a win tomorrow to keep that confidence going. We'll get into who we think should sit and start. But what's your favourite FA Cup game you've ever played in? Because it's coming up. Everyone wants to know, even though you've answered some of these questions before, we got some new subscribers as well. Can you share your favourite FA Cup moment personally as a player that you've played in?
Yeah, the semi-final against Spurs, without a shadow of a doubt. After losing the first semi-final when we were clear favourites, and you know what? Everything kind of went against us on the day. You know, elementary mistakes happened, and it just wasn't our day. They took a 2-0 lead. Alan Smith scored, and if you remember, I hit the crossbar.
You did. At
Wembley, and if we'd have gone 2-2, they would have broken. But what happened? We hit the crossbar. Game went on. They went up the other end, and they scored. Gary Lineker scored a fluky goal, beat us 3-1. And believe you me, they were unbearable. They were unbearable.
How bad is it?
Gaza.
You know
Especially
what?
Gaza, he was unbearable. He
really, as much as we love Gaza and his talent, he's that type of player that would just get right under your skin, isn't he, Super Kev?
He was unbearable. Yeah. Honestly, after the game, he was unbearable. And he you know what he kept saying? He kept shouting to me, Campbell, where's your cup final suit? Where's your cup final suit, Campbell? And under my breath, I can't even tell you what I was saying to him, because we used to kind of frequent the same places in where we were, like, you know what I mean? So we always used to chat. Stedgley on well with Steve Stedgley and Paul Stewart and all them boys. And Gaza would, Campbell, where's your suit?
So annoying. Absolutely.
He was winding me up, and I was boiling, Sophie.
Oh my gosh.
So to get revenge a couple of years later,
that was nice.
Oh, that for me, remember, I'm an Arsenal fan as well.
Right.
So to get them back at Wembley,
Huge.
settled the score. The score.
I mean, I think for most of us, one of our least favourite moments is the Gaza free kick and the Nicolaou double when we thought we had won that cup final easy.
I could tell you, I could tell you my least favourite. Oh, 100%. 100%. Wrexham away, man.
Oh
my God.
Mickey Thomas. That free kick. Oh, that was horrific. Were you in that game, Casey?
Listen, the manager, to me. The manager took me off at 1-0. We're winning 1-0. Come on. You could come and sit down. We got this. And I sat there and I couldn't believe what we were seeing. They equalised with a Mickey Thomas screamer. And then they score. And don't forget, Jimmy Carter scores to make it 2 each. Jimmy Carter scores to make it 2 each. And it gets called off for whatever reason. And there was no foul. I was going to throw the referee. Sophie, I'm going to tell you this for nothing. And all Arsenal fans who feel that pain, we travelled back on the coach. We didn't have a video on, a radio on. It was silence.
Wow.
He tore stripes off us, George Graham.
Right after?
The game. But what? After the game, the next day, we were in training. The next day, the day after that, the day after that.
Go on, Georgie.
You're joking. He said, this is Arsenal Football Club, and that is not good enough. We're training the Sunday, training the Monday, training the Tuesday, training the Wednesday, train every day. Whip. He had the whip out.
Do you know what? I agree with Winston here. That Wrexham game was a weekend wrecker. Jimmy Carter made Gerald Ford look pretty foolish that day. That's hilarious from the Gooners podcast. By the way, thanks for inviting us on your podcast during our podcast. Very classy from the Gooners podcast right there. I mean, KC, I remember because I couldn't go to that game, and I remember watching the TV because it was so at the death, and it was when they started kind of showing the end of some games. And you remember how you used to sit there and want to watch the biddy printer because that was the way you were going to get like the final scores and what was happening.
World of sport.
I couldn't believe I could not talk about FA Cup giant killings because at the time, I think someone said it in chat too, we were champions.
Yeah, we were champions the season before.
Yeah.
And, go in there and you take the lead and we're cruising. We're cruising. They never troubled us.
Wow.
But you know what? Again, this is the power of that FA Cup. These small teams can... look, I don't know what happens, but these small teams find another level from somewhere, and they just produce something out of the. Mickey Thomas, we know he's a quality player. He produced something from his Man United days with that free kick. It was sensational. He was
one of those guys that was very talented, wasn't he? And maybe didn't live up to all of his expectations. But he had a period in his career, Super Kev, where, I mean, talk about
top player.
Top player.
Yeah, he was a top player. He was.
But
that was painful. So
I can't even imagine how painful that is to actually, as fans, obviously we think it's painful, KC, and we go through all of those emotions. But as a player, I mean, you have ups and downs at work and they bug you, and Sophie, then you have to sit through looking at this.
Sophie,
we're
on the coach. We're on the coach coming home, and all the Gooners are driving past. What do you reckon they're doing out the windows?
I can't even imagine.
You can imagine what's going on.
They're giving you.
Or the gestures. Let's just say the gestures.
Yeah.
And the look on their faces. And you know what, Sophie? We know it can happen, but it shouldn't happen. Do you know what I mean? And
right.
It didn't just wreck a weekend. It wrecked a couple of weeks for us.
emotionally, and just what were the results like in the league after that, Casey? I don't
Do you
remember.
know what? I think I'm not too sure because I can't even remember because that lingered for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
George Graham he was like a bear with a sore head and a massive splint in his paw. Do you know what I mean? He just wasn't happy.
That was it's one of those where, you know, you just want to forget, but unfortunately it just lingers. And this is the moment where, look at those numbers right there, Casey, in that wall.
I know. Look at the players. You know, it wasn't as if we played a weakened team. We had a bloody good side out.
Yeah. No.
But the football gods just was against us that day, and it's still sick as I don't even want to see the picture, to be honest, Sophie.
I had to put it up there though, Casey.
I know you had to. Sophie, don't.
There's a worse picture I can put up, I think.
Go on, stick it up there.
I'll stick it up here.
Yeah, stick it up.
I mean, it comes a little bit.
I'm in it now, I know. So
yeah. But you know, we take the good with the bad on this show, and we're able to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And seeing Mickey Thomas with his shirt on, I don't think anyone, wanted to really see that. And I was listening to our friend Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent today on Talk Sport Drive. Their Friday show is actually a really good listen, and they were picking their top 5 FA Cup goals. And I tweeted Andy, and he had to laugh because I said, I know what your number 1 FA Cup goal is. This one, Casey.
Oh, Jesus.
This is just the most brutal, no? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to us?
Do you know why, Soph? Do you know why you're doing it? Because you have quite a tough side to you, right? that is torturous. You're torturing us tonight. Honestly, I mean, we should have won that game hands down a few times. Let's be honest.
How much I remember, I was with my cousin George, who you know really well.
Yes,
it was one of those games we couldn't get to, and we were watching it. And when the penalty came up with Dennis, I said,
rubbing my hands. I was
like, here's my mortgage. Here's the lien to my car. Here's everything I own, everything I have in the bank. Oh my God, we're going to another final.
We're going to beat them. We're
going to beat them. And when Dennis missed that,
you knew, didn't you?
It was over.
You knew. I knew. Once he missed, you just know. They're down to 10 men. And we can't, and the Giggs comes up with that. Nah. It was there. Listen, it was destined for them. It was destiny for
that
them.
Year.
It was destiny.
In so many ways, it was destiny. You know, it was. They had a lot of luck that went their way. I mean, Man United. You know, we always joke that they have a lot of luck that goes their way. But that season in particular, there were just things that started falling for them. And it felt like it was their time, you know. And for us, it just felt like it was not our time. And the minute that Dennis missed that penalty, it was, it was over. Even going into extra time, Casey, there was no way any of us thought that we were going to win that game. And it's good to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, you guys, because look, we've been in 22 finals, we've won 14, and think about the misses we've had along the way, Casey, and the records that we really truly could have broken if the rub of the green had gone our way just a little bit.
Another painful one was West Ham, wasn't it? West Ham.
Oh, God. Jeez. This is the moment where, I mean, Schmeichel was such a good keeper, Casey. I mean, probably the best ever in the Premier League, no?
Well,
for you?
Well, you could say him and Dave Seaman was the best. Remember, Dave Seaman had a longer career in the Premier League,
right?
Than Schmeichel. But Schmeichel, he was 15 points a season, wasn't he? He was 15 points a season. So, look, you're torturing me, and you're sick.
Okay, I'm going to go happy. I'm going to go back to being happy here. We were better than United too. We actually really were.
Yeah.
That was a fascinating season. And that was definitely, look, you don't go into a Champions League final and you're losing 1-0 with extra time, KC, and you
Sophie,
end
the
up scoring 2
margin,
goals.
the margins,
So small, right?
The margins are so small. That year, we could have done the double.
We could have.
We could have easily done the double.
Mm-hmm.
But for the width of a post or whatever, they end up doing the treble.
You see, so there's some people a little bit mad at me for showing some of these pictures.
Hey, and you know what, Sophie? Like I've said, Keith, thank you, Keith. She's torturing me today, man.
Casey, sorry.
She's torturing me. Sophie, stop it. Bring some nice stuff, will ya? It's a bit of sugar now, please.
Okay, let's get to some sugar, shall we?
Yeah.
The good news is that this is a competition, KC, that we've excelled in and that we know. And if you really want to go down, here's some sugar. Here you go, guys. I'll make it up to you. How about that for some sugar? Come on.
Look at that beautifully coiffed hair. Look.
But wait, I can follow it up with something even better than that. You ready? This is my all-time favorite Righty and Casey picture. You guys, it doesn't get more gangster Don than this. Come on.
All right, now you're talking.
Boat.
Yeah. Listen,
now,
I've had so many people asking me if I've still got the coat. And no, I don't still have the coat because they used about 4 cars for that. But no, that was the style at the time, and I had a leather coat. Righty had a leather coat. That was actually on a Euro. That was on a Cup Winners' Cup trip. I think it was to
what year was that, Casey?
That was 1993, 94, wasn't it?
I was going to say 94, yeah.
Yeah, 93, 94 season. We won the Cup Winners' Cup that year. And it's what great memories. And that coat kept me warm. It kept me warm. That's the most important thing.
Love it. You guys were so good.
Jackie, you better shut up, Jackie.
Everyone's loving it.
You know you'd love to wear it.
I think everyone says, when they do those who wore it better things, I think everyone thinks because you had the belt on that you wore it better.
Well, I had the trench, you see. I had the trench and the size, yeah.
Very, very funny. Jackie's laughing her ass off as well. We're just having a little bit of fun here too, especially during this difficult time. So look,
he was trying to copy me. He was trying to copy me, and they only had a bigger size, so we had to get the bigger leather.
I was going to say, Colorado Goonie, the original Wenger coat. That's hilarious. And then a good cop, bad cop. I think, KC, you come off as the super confident one in that picture, I got to say. I know Righty's trying to do the brown brogues, but in that particular shot, it did not work for him, the brown. You had it mastered there, my friend. Mastered.
Well, all I could say is, look, we roomed together. We done loads of stuff together, but I know you got to wear black with the black leather, not brown with the black leather.
Yeah, no. So you do brown brogues with the suit, but not with the with
the blazer and flannels.
Yes.
But with the overcoat, you wear black.
Yes. Listen, where else do you get a little Friday fashionista stuff during it's FA Cup Fashionista Friday here on the Highbury squad with Super Kevin Campbell, who has
with a little bit of pain tucked in.
With a little bit of pain. I do apologize to everyone who's watching on replay.
Don't say that.
Listen, I don't, because this is the great thing about this show is, we like to do a little bit of everything. So let's get to some history here, KC, because I'd love to get stuck in to who you're sitting and starting in particular in this game. But Newcastle United, if I remember correctly, this is from the 1952 FA Cup final, where the Magpies beat us 1-0. They were pretty good back in the day. And check this out, KC, too. I love this. This is the program from the 1952 FA Cup final. Love programs. Used to collect all of them when I'd go to games back in the day. They're probably sitting in my mum and dad's roof loft in Cyprus somewhere. But, this is just such good nostalgic stuff. And this is a picture from that final too. And of course, we played Newcastle many years later as well, Casey. Newcastle are definitely that club that a lot of people love, a little bit like the Green Bay Packers here in the NFL. If they're playing, you're kind of rooting for them. They're that kind of team. Definitely a team that is looking in the rearview mirror in terms of trophies and what they've won, but always a good game against Newcastle when Arsenal, whether it's in the Premier League or the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think the Geordies, everybody likes the Geordies. The Geordies are proper football people. You know, they had a team for a while that were everyone's second team. They came to attack, you know, under Kevin Keegan at times, etc., etc. And, you know, I just think they've been a credit to the Northeast for many a year. The Toon Army would love to be able to win something, that's for sure. And they keep bumping into either Man United or Arsenal or whatever, and they can't get over the line. So, you know, it's been difficult times for them. But I'm sure Steve Bruce, you know, may rest some players because it's the only chance he gets to have a look at some of the squad players, just like Mikel Arteta. You know, this is a chance to probably shuffle his squad and get some other players some playing time.
Do you know what I really think about Newcastle? And I agree with Johnny Boy here. Welcome to the show, Johnny Boy, and everyone who's listening from all corners of the earth. We appreciate you joining us this Friday night. KC, they seem to me a little bit like Manchester City. And just give me a minute here, younger people who are listening, thinking City are like one of the greatest clubs in the world. City had really good pedigree in history. The late, God bless, rest his soul, Colin Bell, you know, some really good plays. Franny Lee, you know, when Dennis Law went to City from United and he scored that goal that sunk United into relegation, right?
Yeah.
KC, Dennis Law with that famous goal. And City did have some success, but they really were in no man's land. And if a good friend of the show, and we're going to be bringing Sean Goater back to have another conversation with him, you know, when Sean was playing for City, he took them from 2-1 to the Premier League.
Exactly.
Super Kev.
They were in the third tier.
Right. And I think Newcastle fan base wise, you know, Sunderland Till I Die, if they did a documentary on Newcastle, it would be just as successful as Sunderland Till I Die.
Well, should we say just as fanatical?
Fanatical. That's yes. That's a really good word and a great point, Super Kev. And I think if this Ashley ownership changed and turned, Newcastle, I think, could pull off a City. And I don't think I'm being melodramatic or overly stating that. I think they have the fan base. I think they have a good fan base internationally. They've had this, you know, history, the Kevin Keegan years, the Ginola, Asprilla years, the Shearer years, incredible. They should have won the Premier League. There's no doubt about that. If an investor comes in and grabs Newcastle, I think they're the type of team that could end up being like a Manchester City, just purely from the money point of view.
Well, if you remember in the summer, there was a huge opportunity from Saudi that they wanted to take over the club, and it never got ratified by the Premier League. Newcastle, for not only the football club, but the area, they need ownership. They need big ownership, big money to go in, because the training ground needs doing. There's quite a few things that need doing at Newcastle, Sophie. And obviously Mike Ashley his heart's not in it anymore. So can you imagine if the Saudis had taken over Newcastle?
Yeah.
They would have pumped money into that football club and the area to make it the best, because they don't mess about. If they're going to do it, they do it to win. So remember, these guys are richer than
Roosevelt,
Sheikh Mansour. They're richer than Sheikh Mansour. These guys. So I feel for Newcastle. I speak to Geordie Pete, and Geordie Pete, you know.
Oh yeah.
Geordie Pete. He always tells, if that could happen, that would put Newcastle back on the map. But unfortunately, the Premier League never ratified it. And there's been so many false dawns about takeovers. I feel sad for them, because you know what? There's such lovely people up there. Yeah,
I mean, I completely agree with you. I think that different ownership, Newcastle United can be, you know, when you look at RB Leipzig in Germany, KC, new money. new injection, complete investment behind them. Now, buying players that other top tier teams are looking for, doing really well in the Champions League, really making a mark. People can talk about all they want about new money and frowning upon it, but the sport is moving forward. The game is definitely evolving. The modernization of it and the monetization of it is just part of it now. So you have to really embrace that. Okay, so let's get stuck into Kevin's mind. I'm going to make you put your coach hat on right now, and everyone in chat join in and let us know who sits and who starts. Who are you saving? Who are you sitting? Who are you protecting? How do you see it shaping up tomorrow against the Magpies? It's important, but is it as important as the league at this point? We have a good squad. What's KC saying?
Oh, it's always important. And what you don't want to do is lose a little bit of momentum. We know it's easy to say, oh, CFA Cup, but we're holders and we want to defend it. So I'd go as strong as we can. So Leno would play. I'd put Maitland-Niles at right back.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go Rob Holding. I'd go Gabriel. And I'd go Tierney.
You play Tierney?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he plays.
Okay.
Midfield, I would go El Neni and Ceballos. Yeah, and Ceballos. In front of them, I would go as a number 10. I would go Pepe. On the left, I would go Aubameyang. On the right, I would go Reece Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And through the middle, I would go Lacazette. That would be, I would save, obviously, Xhaka. He would play. Saka, I'd rest. Smith Rowe could be on the bench. Martinelli could be on the bench. Because those guys are going to play against Palace.
But let me ask you this. Do you think it's fair to say, with the way he's playing and how he's our top scorer, even though we haven't scored too many goals, that we should protect Lacazette and maybe give Balogun a chance to play, especially as we're trying to keep him versus sell him, or unless he's really on his way out, he doesn't play?
No, I've told you already. If Balogun ain't signing, he doesn't play. That is the economy of business. This is football, high level. If you're not with us, you're against us, Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't play. If he's not going to commit, he doesn't play.
So what you're saying is that he doesn't deserve to play versus I would play him.
No, what I'm saying is, Sophie, is if you're at Arsenal and you're in with it, you're negotiating your contract and you're happy to sign. Negotiation is negotiation. He can play. He could be on the bench and he could play. But he's not, as far as I'm concerned, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and people could come at me. Balogun is not ready. He isn't. So he's not committing to Arsenal. That's why he doesn't play. Simple. It's economic. It's economy. It's the will, the want. Does he want to play for Arsenal? Yes or no? If you're not going to sign, see you later.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I hear what you're saying, but we've played players, and Amin, thank you. Love that Casey's a people's person, giving streamers a chance. Big up Kev for real. He totally is very supportive and an absolute legend. But Casey, we played Sanchez when we were going to sell him. Literally, we played Ramsey before we were going to sell him.
Sophie, you see?
And Arteta never really played him. You're right, James.
No, but here's the great thing. Remember when you said about Mikel Arteta treating players differently?
Mm-hmm.
Ramsey got treated differently. Sanchez got treated differently, didn't he? Experienced players get treated differently. And it's the hierarchy, and that's what you do. Because they're experienced players. You want to win, so you play them. Balogun, you don't know. We don't actually know how good Balogun is.
Well, I mean,
No, but you don't, Sophie. Have you seen him in 90 minutes in the first team? No. So how do you know how good he actually is in the first team? You don't.
Okay, that's fair. I'm going to give you that, but we've said that about Reece deserves a chance, and ESR. ESR didn't really play in the first team. ESR didn't play in the first team.
No, he has. Of course, he has. He's played in the Europa League.
Yeah, he has, but
started in the Europa League.
I know, but for the same reasons, we see that he has talent. We want to give him a chance in the first team. And I think what Arsenal fans think is that Balogun, however you're pronouncing his name, Balogun hasn't been given that same chance. And people think he does deserve it.
No, he's younger.
If you're young enough, you're good enough. We've talked about that.
But we're going to get back to it, Sophie. If he does not commit to Arsenal, he doesn't play. What part of that don't people understand?
I get it. I get it. Okay. All right. That's fine. It's your sitting and starting. So totally up to you. Well, look, all I know is that Ian Barron's made the best comment of the night so far. Ian,
you groveler.
Come on. I love it. Perfect. It's a really good question. Because you got a lot of people that are agreeing with you in chat as well. Nelson did have a good spell in Germany. We've seen Willock. We've seen ESR go out on loan. Balogun has not had those moments. You guys are absolutely 100% correct. But at some point, you've got to bite the bullet. And if you want to keep a player, maybe force him into the team to show the agent, especially if the agent's playing fiddly sticks, what Arsenal want to do to commit to him. So I get that. I would definitely rest Lacazette. I would I would make Aubameyang play. And I would make him play down the middle. And I would maybe throw in Pepe tomorrow and Reece Nelson. KC, help educate me. Can Reece play on the right and the left? Is he... He can, right?
And left, yeah. He can.
Right. So I'm thinking, why not play Pepe on the right and Reece on the left and Oba down the middle? And I would have Willock in midfield with El Neni. And I would have, I'm not sure about Cedric. I'd play Maitland-Niles either at right back or in midfield. You got a couple choices there. I would definitely rest.
Bellerin, would you?
Well, I don't know about resting him. I mean, I just wouldn't play him.
No, we just call it rest. We call it rest.
Rest as the managerial talk. Now, the two centre-backs, do we want to protect? Do we have any choice right now? Because he's not going to bring in... he can't play Mustafi. If he plays Mustafi and doesn't give Balogun a chance, there's the same two reasons you just made an excuse for.
No, I didn't make an excuse. You see, here we go again. It's no excuse, Sophie. It's football. Mustafi has the experience over Balogun.
But he's no good.
But he's still been on the bench. He still gets on the pitch. We saw him with the captain's armband, what made me sick, but he was still captain. There's a massive difference, Sophie, unfortunately. But, I would have loved to have seen Saliba there. But unfortunately, he's not there.
Answer me this, everyone. Without Kolasinac, and if we do, I would want to rest. I want to wrap Tierney up in cotton wool and put him on my windowsill next to a little plant that I water every day that grows and is nurtured. If he doesn't play KC, who plays at left back now?
Well, you can play Maitland-Niles there, can't you?
You can, of course.
Or Cedric. Cedric could play left back.
He's definitely, and he's done that. He did that at Southampton a lot when he played at Southampton.
He can play either side. So we've got enough. Again, we've got enough cover if he wanted to rest Tierney. But Tierney was young. He wants to play. He don't want to mess around.
Yeah.
Play.
Yeah. I don't want Mustafi anywhere near this team. No. I'd rather play Holding and Mari still. And
no, Gabriel. Gabriel's got to play.
Well, bring Gabriel back. Well, for the same reasons I was going to ask you. You're protecting Thomas Partey. Do you want to protect Gabriel for the Palace game?
No, but you don't. Well, he's not been injured.
No, but he's been sick.
No, but he had no symptoms.
But we don't know how that made him feel. He may have become
no, Sophie. He's had no symptoms. No symptoms mean he's all right.
Look at me trying to make him.
Yeah, no. What am I hearing there? Sophie, stop it! Oh God, I can't win with you today. Oh, jeez.
Well, I don't want to. If we're going to protect Partey, and Holding and Pablo Mari have done well in the last 3 games, like hold him and Partey for Palace. Let them, I wouldn't play Gabriel in this game. I'd have him on the bench.
Why?
Because I think when you win 3 games in a row and you're performing really well, especially with Holding, he plays really well with Mari. We talked about him playing with like a BFG type player, smart, intelligent, not as pacey, but football brain, really good, positionally really good. We want to keep Lacazette and Aubameyang in the team. Why not keep the defense in the team too, especially after how they've performed over the last 3 matches?
Yeah, but sometimes it's the only chance you're going to get to give Gabriel minutes, especially. Remember, he's been the best centre-half we've had. And he is the best centre-half we've had. Mm-hmm. So for me, he plays, he's got to play. And then if he's off the pace, fair enough. He needs to get back up to speed. But, he needs to play. Because if you don't play him here, and then we get into Crystal Palace and one of the centre-halves get injured, we're bringing a rusty player in. Nope. Yeah. We need him to play.
This is great. Casey was a winner on the football pitch, but on a stream with Sophie always loses.
Tell me about it. Because she sets me up. She takes me down memory lane with bloody Wrexham. Come on.
Oh, I love it. Okay, then, you guys. So who's on the bench then? I mean, this could be. I mean, do you give you don't throw in players like Aziz and
no.
That, right?
All the guys who are not playing, like Bellerin, Pablo Mari, Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli, all those guys are on the bench. All of that group are on the bench to come on if need be to add the energy, and we'll see.
Okay, cool. Newman, to be fair to me, KC was the one that brought up Wrexham and I added the pictures. Now, did I have to add the pictures? Absolutely
no. Hold on, Newman. Let me just say this. She had the pictures in her back, in her coat. That's why she took it off.
That's how quickly I work.
She took the coat off and took the pictures out. And as soon as I mentioned Wrexham, bang, they were.
You just be careful, otherwise I'll have this on every show right here.
And listen, I don't mind the curly pink hair. It was kind of the afro. I loved it.
I'd love to know what other pictures you guys have from the Tuesday Club. That's for sure.
No pictures.
No pictures. We love Kev's rants too, 100%. Everyone enjoying it. Right then, Super Kev, we need to do some predictions, I guess, for tomorrow's game. Anything else you want to say about the FA Cup? Some news. We don't want to mention the O word until we know what's happening there. Wheelings and dealings we'll get to next week a little bit more as things pan out.
Here's one thing I will say, though, Sophie.
Yeah.
If what happens, what does everybody think if Mo doesn't go? Put it in the chat. Because if Mo, look, there's an opportunity for him to go to 2 clubs. What happens if he just signs a contract for the end of the season and stays?
Until the summer?
Yes. Knowing he's going to play no football. What would people start seeing his game?
What do you mean by that? Like he's still not going to play?
No, but that's what I'm saying. So he's saying he wants to play.
Right.
Obviously, if he signs somewhere else for the end of the season and stays, that means he doesn't want to play.
No, he doesn't. He's never wanted to play. That's my opinion.
No, but that's my whole point. Why would you sign for the end of the season? You sign for now and make sure you do a deal so you can get out and play football. But if he signs for the end of the season and stays, what would the fan base think about him then?
Well, there's this whole debate going online right now about his legacy and if he's a true Arsenal legend. And DJ Tony Perry, a very good friend of ours, wrote today, he goes, I think Olivier Giroud is more of an Arsenal legend than Ozil. And I think that's because of the way Ozil's handled himself. I think he was a huge component to us winning our first FA Cup. and those FA Cup wins. I think that's where he contributed the most. In the Champions League, he let us down. He didn't perform against big teams. And there was one game against Liverpool where we were losing 2-0, and he and Alexis Sanchez gave us the dream that we all believed in, but it just never came to fruition, did it? I mean, that night to me is one of my favorite games ever.
Incredible.
It was just incredible. And the energy that he and Sanchez had, the goal, the celebrations. I mean, and my hair's going up on end right now. And, you know, in COVID, there's not a lot of time to wax these days, everyone, but that's too much information for you fellas out there, but the girls will know what I mean.
Hey, the guys are waxing now. Hey, Sophie, what are you talking about? The guys are waxing more than the women sometimes. Jeez.
They call that metrosexual, Casey.
Well, I don't know what they call it, but you know what? I know they're waxing.
I know. I mean, look, there's all this manscaping. Every dude podcast I listen to is sponsored by Manscaped, and I'm like, hello. So yeah, I mean, people are moving up in the world and getting all modern. What can we say? Neither are legends in our book. He would get slaughtered, is what people are saying. Ozil was brilliant with other brilliant midfielders, and that's true, Colorado Gooner, because that's why he shone at Real Madrid. Really, Casey, right? Is you know, he was among other world-class talent in every single position. And at Arsenal, let's be honest, we didn't do that for him. He had Santi, he had Sanchez, but we never got that midfielder you talked about. We never strengthened the defense that we should have. And we didn't really we had Robin van Persie, who we failed to keep, but then really relied on Olivier Giroud to be the prolific striker, and Giroud's game is just a little bit different.
The thing is, Sophie, when you have players like Ozil and Sanchez, you've got to make sure you shut the back door. Even with Giroud up top, and Giroud isn't one who's going to really stretch the pitch, but he's big and he'll hold the ball up. That will allow the likes of Ozil and Sanchez to get into position to hurt the opposition. But our problem was, Sophie, when we turned the ball over, we were too easily got at by the better teams. If we'd have had that centre midfielder and the centre half, we would have been a lot tougher to get through at the back. So we would have won a lot more, and we would have won the league. We would have won the league. So I don't put that on Ozil. I put that on Arsene Wenger, because he never addressed our issue for 10 years.
Yeah, I think this is a good point. He's more of an iconic player than a legend. And I can see why Amin is saying that, Casey, is that to a large portion of fans, not only in the UK, but on a global level, he speaks to them in different ways, and he's become an icon for them. And that stems from Real Madrid and also winning the World Cup with Germany. And I think we gained a lot of fans because of him, because they loved him. And a lot of modern day fans, it's really bizarre. Some people follow players versus following teams, which is really super weird. But for me, when you talk about club legends, you've got to be really frugal with how you hand those kinds of, accolades out. Not everybody is a legend, and some people are great players and some people are iconic. Look, Jurgen Klinsmann played one season for Spurs, but he's an icon there because of what he did in that year he played for them. You've got a lot of players Ryan Giggs is a legend at Manchester United. Tony Adams is a legend at Arsenal. John Terry is a legend at Chelsea. Didier Drogba is probably a legend, but then they had someone like, for example, I don't know who would be a good example at Chelsea, but someone like Dennis Wise is an icon, because of the transitional period
I'd say he was a legend. I'd say Dennis was a legend. Yeah. I'd say he was a Chelsea legend. Because he was a captain, and he came through they had some tough times, and he always stood up. He was a little bugger in that midfield. Yeah. Wasn't he? He was always
like a mosquito.
But he was always up for the fight, Sophie. And sometimes legends are made not always by winning.
Yeah.
It's by turning up and playing your part. So,
Casey, do you think Alexis Sanchez's legacy at Arsenal is greater than Mesut?
If we take away the way he left,
Mhm.
I think Sanchez, for his body of work, was an incredible talent. Incredible. And I think he's right up there and probably overshadows Meza in a sense of what he brought to the table. Because not only was he a goal scorer, he worked so hard, set goals up. He was different class. But Meza had that, he's got the gift, hasn't he? He's got the gift to be able to spot a pass and pick a pass, etc. But if you weigh both up, it's going to be difficult because, Meza Ozil is a top talent. His talent was unbelievable. And to have them two and not win the league, Mr. Wenger, you have to ask questions. You do.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that. And I loved how Sanchez played. He played with energy, and he had a discipline, and he had this winning mentality in this fight, Super Kev.
What's this Karthik talking about here?
Where?
Just go back one.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Which one?
Bergkamp is more of a legend than Henry because Henry went to Barcelona.
Oh, here we go. Karthik. Yeah.
When we needed him. Yeah? Karthik, what are you talking about?
You see how Casey spotted you there, Karthik?
Yeah, Karthik, I can't let you get away with that one. No, listen, both of them are legends, but Thierry Henry is a legend amongst legends. And he came back. Don't forget. And do you know when he's such a legend, when he comes back and scores that goal against Leeds, the crowd were just, it was just amazing.
I mean,
it was an amazing moment.
What a moment that was.
Yeah.
That has to be in the top 5 greatest Arsenal moments ever.
What a huge moment. Absolutely huge moment when he came back and scored that goal against Leeds. Because everyone, as soon as he got the ball, everybody knew it's a goal.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to go.
Totally. Wow. Divian here would put Ozil in the Arshavin category. Could have been so much more. Same with Sanchez. I understand what they're saying. Look, we did not capitalize on that talent.
And you look, I still think Arsene Wenger is the greatest Arsenal manager. But he never made the signings we needed at the right times. He didn't. He spent money, Soph. Wenger spent money.
He did. He completely did. You know what I think we've stumbled upon here, you guys, is a show for next week in the lockdown series, because there's so much hitting right now in chat, and we're going to have to go in a little bit.
Hold on.
Now people are asking,
what did Don One say? He agrees with who? Karthik.
With you.
No, he wasn't, was it?
Wait.
He said, I agree with him, Casey.
I agree with him. Oh, okay. You're in trouble now.
I'll tell you what, Don One. I'll tell you what, you want to do one. Never mind Don One. You want to do one. Bloody agree with him. What am I hearing?
Get the samurai sword out.
Yeah, get the samurai. Get it off with his head, love.
Oh my God, brilliant. I love this. Look, I think we've stumbled upon something here, you guys. Next week, we're going to do a show. Legend, I'll come up with the title, legend, icon, or just a great player. We'll figure it all out, because we got people talking about Overmars and Wiltord.
Icon, legend, player.
Yeah, because now we're getting the Van Persie questions, and now the Don's coming back saying the Don has spoken.
Yeah, about the Don has spoken. Get the sword out and off with his head.
Ainsley's giving red cards here, left, right, and centre.
I love that, Ainsley. Karthik, you're done.
All right, you guys, let's get out here on our predictions. We're going to do this show next week, so get ready. Make your list. Who is a true legend of Arsenal Football Club? Who is a cult hero? I'm not going to say icon. Cult hero, I think, works better than icon, because icon touches on the legend part, I think. What do you think, Casey? Or we could do legend, icon, cult hero.
And you know what we do? We'll let the fans put the names up.
Yep.
And we'll discuss it. Yes,
right.
There you go.
Kevin's already throwing. Look, another Kevin, from one Kevin to another.
You see, Kev, I like your style, boss. I like your style.
I love it. And you're right. No one's breaking into Sophie's with that sword.
Samurai
time. Save it, you guys. Save all these for next week. We're going to do a whole hour show on this. I think there's going to be a lot to say, but it's going to be down to you. So watch out for Twitter. We're going to put the list out and then come to the table ready. Otherwise, the samurai sword will come out. All right, Casey. Are we doing a post-game show tomorrow, or do we not do that for the FA Cup?
No, I believe if you want to.
Oh, all right. Well,
I think that let's see if the fans want it. If the fans want an after-game show, we'll do it.
Yeah, you guys let us know. You guys let us know right now before we go, where we're giving you predictions if you want a post-game show for the FA Cup. We usually just do them for the Premier League. But we will do that for you if you so desire us to be in your living room tomorrow night after what will hopefully be a victory against the Magpies, Super Kev. Smash that like button for us. If you don't like us, that's all cool anyway. We can still be friends. But seriously, if you don't like us, why don't you like us? Let us know. How can we improve the show? Super Kev, am I how many minutes overtime?
No.
Okay.
Prediction.
All right. What are you saying?
3-1.
3-1 to the Gunners?
To the Gooners.
This is the answers we're getting for tomorrow, for doing a show tomorrow, Casey. Yes, we want. Yes, please. Yes, do a game show, Casey. Yes, Johnny Boy. Amesy, yes, here. Yes. Amesy, I think, has put it in 10 times just to make sure that we did not miss it. So, okay, we'll be back for a post-game show.
We'll do a game show. We'll do it. We'll be after post-game show tomorrow.
Look at Mask Gunner being cheeky. All right, here we go. 3-1, 2-0, 3-0, 2-0. I fancy a win. I think it may be a 4-2 to the Gunners tomorrow, Casey. I fancy us to maybe concede early, but we'll find our feet and we'll beat Newcastle 4-2.
Okay.
And Karthik is really groveling right now, Casey, because he's begging you not to send him off.
No, I didn't send you off. Sophie sent you off.
I think Amesy did. You need to talk to Amesy about that.
Hold on. Amesy sent you off, and Sophie's going to chop your head off, Karthik. So you better move quick.
All right. Top stuff, you guys. That was a fun show going down memory lane too. More people joining in chat right now. Vinny Vieira's getting super excited because it's Cup weekend. Let's see this. Even the squad wants to diss the Cup and be no shows. No. That is
he
not
just turned
true.
up, has he?
He
just turned up.
No, Mask Gunner's been in the chat for a while. Okay, now we'll take your apology, Mask Gunner. After doing that whole show and tell of FA Cup history, you want to come back right at the end with that. That's like a dirty Roy Keane tackle that you.
Where's the samurai?
Right
Get the samurai out. Draw the samurai. Yeah, man. Take off him head. Take off him head.
Oh, all right. Good stuff, you guys. We're so happy that no, we don't do watch-alongs. You know why, Robin? We probably get in trouble.
No.
Let's be honest. Well, not us. Amanda would get in trouble. There's no doubt about that. But no, we don't do watch-alongs. We just like doing the post-game stuff and everything. We're glad that you guys have enjoyed the show. Let's hope for an Arsenal victory tomorrow against the Magpies. And until then, Super Kev.
Let's keep the momentum and look at that beautifully coiffed hair. Come on, you Gunners.